Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, wherever you may be. AJ here, Andrew, from New York, Westchester County. It's 6/2/2023, and something I've been wanting to talk to you about is a video by Brian's Logic called 700-Mile Mont Blanc Observation Globe Response, in which he repeats the claim from Taboo Conspiracy that this photo by Andrew Bailey, taken from Snowdon, the highest peak in Wales, shows 8 peaks of the European Alps, which are over 1,100 kilometres away. Brian goes off into the maths of how many over 6 Rs this would make the radius of the globe, without ever questioning the validity of Taboo's claim. The executive summary is that they are clouds on the horizon, because of course they are clouds. Now consider that the longest confirmed terrestrial sightline photograph is this one by Mark Brett of 443 kilometres, taken from Pic de Finisterre in the Pyrenees of 2,800 metres elevation to Pic Gaspard in the Alps of 3,800 metres elevation. The most ludicrous of Taboo's claims is that from Snowdon at an elevation of 1,100 metres, the peak of La Tournée in the Alps of 2,350 metres can be seen from a distance of 1,100 kilometres, a much lower observer height, a much lower target, and a distance 2.5 times the world record. Now here is a still from Taboo's video showing the 8 clouds that he claims are the peaks. My guess is that he picked the most prominent cloud and declared it to be Mont Blanc, and then scoured the Alps for peaks that match the bearings of the other clouds in this photo. Something of a Texas sharpshooter fallacy going on here. Well, thanks to the magic of Peak Finder, we can determine the bearings to each of the claimed peaks, and thanks to the magic of Google Earth, we can determine the actual bearings to those peaks. So, compiling those numbers, on the lower half here we have the claimed 8 peaks and the angles determined from the photograph, and at the top are the actual angles from Google Earth and where those peaks should actually appear in the photograph. While the relative gaps between each claim is consistent with the actual gaps, the scale is actually quite a bit out. The spread in the photo is about 17 degrees, but the actual spread of the expected angles is about 10.5 degrees. But I will have to give him credit that Mont Blanc is actually pretty much in the exact direction that he says it is. But there's another problem besides the bearings being a little wrong. Taboo has also done some cherry picking. He's found peaks that match the locations that he needs them, but he's ignored peaks that actually exist when he doesn't need them, and he's been quite deceptive by not mentioning the heights of each of his claims. Firstly, in the large gap between numbers 1 and 2, Jungfrauen and Grand Combine, there are actually a number of peaks that are higher than those 2 peaks, including the Matterhorn and Monte Rosa, which is the second highest peak in the entire Alps, yet none of them are visible in the photo. And just to the right of Mont Blanc, which is number 4, he only claims 2 relatively low peaks, numbers 4 and 5, which are both around 2,500 metres tall. Yet there are numerous peaks in that area just behind those 2 that are between 3,500 and 3,850 metres tall, so about 1,000 metres higher, and yet none of them are visible in the photograph either. So combining all this together, at the bottom is Taboo's claim. Above that, his 8 peaks are plotted on Google Earth, as well as 16 peaks that he didn't claim. At the top, the heights and bearings are plotted to show what should be seen on the horizon. Now, on the left, this little group of peaks, despite being higher than peaks 1 and 2, aren't in the photo. And on the right, these peaks, despite being higher than 4 and 5, are also not seen in the photo. But to find the biggest cherry pick of all we need to do is shift our gaze a few degrees to the right and ask Taboo Conspiracy, have the Himalayas moved to the south of France? Because that would be the biggest Mandela effect ever. So I thank you for subbing, I thank you for viewing my videos, letting me be a part of your life.